With many businesses unable to operate during the movement control order which started in March, not only did many people lose their existing jobs, people who wished to start working couldn't because not many companies were hiring.
Some of the worst unemployment numbers in this country's history.
Hello everyone, we are Group 8 to present unemployment in Malaysia.
This is our group member.
Today, I will be sharing something basic but super important, the difference between being employed and unemployed. It sounds straightforward, but these terms play a huge role in how we understand the job market and economy overall. So, why is it so important to define these terms clearly? Well, imagine trying to measure a country's progress without knowing who's working and who's not. These definitions help governments and organizations collect data, set policies, and support people who are looking for jobs. Let's start with the term employee. When we say someone is an employee, it means they're working under someone, either a company or a person, and they're getting paid for the job they do. It could be a full-time job, part-time, or even temporary work. The key point is they have some sort of agreement or contract, and they get regular payment, usually not based on profits. Now, moving on to unemployed. It doesn't just mean someone isn't working. To be considered unemployed officially, a person must not have a job, but also must be actively trying to find one and be available to start if they get hired. So, for example, if someone is not working but isn't looking for a job either, they wouldn't be counted in the unemployment stats. This may seem like small stuff, but it actually matters a lot. These definitions are used by researchers, economists, and governments to decide how strong the job market is. It also helps them know where spot is needed, whether it's creating more jobs, offering training, or changing policies.
Today, I would like to talk about types of unemployment. So the first one is a frictional unemployment. It means in a short-term jobless period between positions or during initial job hunt after completing education. Young people who have completed their education, they are often initially unemployed as they actively seek jobs that have to match with their qualification or interests. So the second one is structural unemployment. Structural unemployment refers to misalignments between the skills that young people have and the skills that employers need. It could be happen when there are graduates with degrees or skills in fields that have limited job opportunities or have high competitive. The third one is cyclical unemployment. It occurs when economic downturns, where declining demand for goods or service leads business to reduce production. Young workers, especially fresh graduates, are often the first to be laid off or be fired during a downturn because they usually have less experience and less hired. So the last one is technological unemployment. New technology that replaces human labor and reduce the need for workers in certain jobs. It also set a new production method that require workers who have digital literacy and technical skills. A lack of digital skills can cause young people to miss out on valuable job opportunities.
Today I'm going to share with you guys how to calculate the rate of unemployment. So first we'll start with the formula, which is very simple, which is unemployment rate equals to total unemployed divided by total labor force times with 100. Basically, it just tells us the percentage of people who are looking for a job but haven't found one yet. Now, let us go through the numbers from 2019 to 2023 together. In the first year, 2019, there were about 15.68 million people in the labor force and around 508,200 unemployed. So the unemployment rate was 3.24%, which we'll get by dividing 0.5082 with 15.68 and then times with 100. Then came 2020, and yeah, we all know COVID hit hard. Unemployment jumped to 4.5%, 54%, with more than 711,000 people without jobs. So we take 0.711 divide with 15.67 times 100, and so we'll get 4.54%. For the next year in 2021, things didn't improve much. The rate went slightly up to 4.64%, which we'll get by dividing 0.733 with 15.8 times 100, and we'll get the answer. But by 2022, we started seeing some more improvement, which the rate dropped to 3.90%. Yay! So how do we get that? It's the same. We take 0.6145 and divide with 15.77 times 100. And finally, in 2023, things got even better. The unemployment rate went down to 3.38%, with more people working and the economy slowly bouncing back. We'll get 3.38% by dividing 0.5534 with 16.37 times 100. So overall, we can see the unemployment increased during pandemic, but it is slowly improving, which is a good sign for our economy.
I'm going to present about analysis of rate of unemployment. From the graph, we know that the highest rate of unemployment is 4.64% at 2021, and the lowest rate of unemployment is 3.24% at 2019. The graph shows negative trend from 2019 to 2021, which the rate of unemployment increased from 3.24% to 4.64%. It is due to the global impact of COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupt economic activity and caused many people lost their job. And also, the graph shows positive trend from 2021 to 2023, which the rate of unemployment decreased from 4.64% to 3.38%. This is due to the recovery in the economy, increased job creation, and improving labor market conditions. So, from the overall graph, we know that the unemployment rate showed a temporary rise due to the pandemic, but has been improving steadily in recent years.
Factor of unemployment. First, voluntary unemployment. This is a situation where individuals are unemployed by choice rather than due to a lack of available job. The youth may choose to leave their job due to work environment and other reasons. This will lead to unemployment. Second, skill shortfall. The lack of the specific skill required by employer for available job. The youth cannot fulfill a large number of skills needed of a company. It results in fewer people getting employed. The third is technical advancements. In this era of globalization, the technology have replaced people who are previously employed for a specific job, especially in the production and manufacture process. The machine and other such technologies have replaced people. The last is the low wage, which is too low to attract people. The youth may feel that the salary does not meet their expectation and thus become temporarily unemployment.
Effect of unemployment. There are 4 effects of unemployment. First, decreased consumer spending. When people don't have job, they don't have money to spend on daily need like food, clothing, or entertainment. These businesses sell less and make less money. As a result, they might reduce production or even lay off more workers, which affect the economy even more. Second, weak economic growth. If business are not making money and fewer goods are being sold, this leads to weak economic growth. A high unemployment rate can even lead to recession. Third, brain drain. If young people can't find good job in their own country, they may choose to move overseas for better opportunities. This is a problem because the country loses talented and educated people who could have helped improve the local economy. 4. Depression and anxiety. Being unemployed for a long time can affect people's mental health. Young people may feel stressed, anxious, or even depressed because they are unsure about their future. This is not only affect individuals but can also increase the need for mental health service.
So today I'm going to share with you about the challenges of unemployment. This can affect not just individual but also families, government, and also the whole country. So the first one is loss of income and standard of living. When someone loses their job, they also loses their income. That means they might struggle to pay bills, groceries, or support their loved one. So for example, imagine a father who works in a factory. If he loses his job, he might not able to pay for his children's school fees anymore. So this is how badly it can affect a family. The second one is mental health and social problems. Unemployment can really take a toll on a person's mind. It can cause stress, sadness, and low self-esteem. Over time, it can lead to family issues, crime, or homelessness. For instance, a graduate who keeps trying for a job but doesn't get one for years may start to feel completely hopeless and alone. The third one is government burden. When a lot of people are unemployed, the government has to spend more on things like benefits, healthcare, and support. At the same time, the government earns less tax money because fewer people are working, so it becomes a big financial pressure for the country. The last one is lower economic growth. If people doesn't have money, they won't spend much. That means businesses won't sell as much as they produce, less, and that might be even closed down. It's like a chain reaction that slows down the economic more and more. So yeah, unemployment is not just for someone who having a job. It creates many bigger problems all around us.
Today I will talk about how to solve the unemployment. Number 1 is stimulate the economic growth. Government can implement various of policy to stimulate economic growth, including investment in infrastructure, tech incentive, and entrepreneurship support. Number 2, improve education and skill training. This can improve vocational training, apprenticeship, and job retaining program. This program provide individuals with a lot of skill and able to improve their employability. Number 3, encourage entrepreneurship. Government can encourage entrepreneurship by providing access to funding, reducing regulatory burden, and creating a favorable business environment. Number 4, implemented target employment program. That incentive, job placement service, and on-the-job training can help individuals to do better in their job life. Number 5, support small and medium-sized enterprise. Government can provide funding opportunity through grant, loan, and venture capital program. This can help SME overcome financial barriers and enable them to invest more in their growth and innovation.
In short, knowing who is employed and who is unemployed helps us get a clearer picture of the economy. It's not just about numbers, it's about real people, real jobs, and real challenge. The better we define these terms, the better we can plan and support the workforce.